Are you ready? Right, so welcome to this session. Thank you for staying. My name's Sandra Sinfield and I also work in the Centre for the Enhancement of Learning and Teaching, and we operate drop-in writing clinics. And I don't know if you know about these, but these can help you be more successful. They're over in the library on the mezzanine floor, and they're usually between 12 and 2, Mondays to Fridays now. So if you want some help with any of your assignments, because you think, well, a little bit of help would probably get me a better grade, that would be a positive thing to do straight away. Yeah, the mezzanine floor of the library, behind the glass classroom. You know, if you look up at the mezzanine, there's a glass classroom. Behind that, there's a workshop space. And there are staff there from Monday to Friday now, 12 till 2, who'll give you one-to-one feedback on an assignment you're doing and help push you do a little bit better if you want. Yeah, it's really helpful. So what I'm going to look at is a little bit of...
sorry, what times are you open there?
They're 12 till 2, Monday to Friday. And actually it's also open Wednesday evening 6 till 8, if you're interested, you know. Yeah, there's writing clinics and now there's study-wise clinics, so it means that there are a lot more staff there. 12 till 2 and Wednesday evening 6 till 8. So I'm looking at positive thinking, but obviously we need usually to have positive thinking to overcome our fear, our lack of self-belief, our lack of self-confidence, all those things that sort of get in our way in the world when we're students, when we're applying for a job, when we're going for a driving test, all those things and we go, oh, I don't think I want to do that. Maybe I shouldn't do that. Maybe I should just go and get my coat, you know? So I thought that, have we let fear stop us do anything? I'm going to ask you that. Then I'm going to suggest that there are ways we can see fear differently and things to do about our fearful feelings. And then I'm going to suggest some positive things that we can do and say to help build our self-confidence and help us act more confidently. And the idea is sort of if we start acting more confidently, the real confidence will come along behind and it will catch up with us. That's exactly right. So, have we ever let fear stop us from doing anything? Yeah, what was that?
I don't think so.
So many things, I can't even begin to list them now. I know that there are lots of things that I let fear stop me with when I was growing up. I somehow got the message that if I wasn't instantly good at something, that meant I couldn't do it and I'd never be good at it. Maths, yeah, so it could be maths, it could be ice skating, it could be dancing, it could be anything, but a fear bubbles up in us and you think, oh, I don't think I can do that. And the fearful feeling tells us, give up, yeah? And I'm going to argue that it shouldn't tell us that. I'm going to say we can see fear differently. So that's one of the things I'm going to argue with you right now, how to look at fear differently. So, the biggest one I think to look at is fear is good. Right? Because when we're a little bit afraid of something, it means we're going on to new territory. We're going on to unfamiliar ground. And actually, we should be doing that. As human beings, we should be embracing risk, taking a chance, having a go, failing, getting up, trying again, and failing better. That's actually what being human is, right? Being human isn't being safe. It isn't that insurance policy, that pension plan, that bit of money under the floorboards. That's sort of anti-human. That's against life. Life is about embracing risk, feeling fear and doing it anyway. Because life should be about embracing our fears. But it's not as easy. It doesn't come just like that. But it's really, it's a nice way to start thinking about it. Another thing to realise is everybody feels fear when they're doing something new, something tricky. Everybody. The trouble is, especially when we're students, I think you look around at other people and you think, they can do it. It's all right for them. They've got no problems. It's just me. I have all the fear. So not only am I fearful and a bit scared and worried, I'm the only one. And if only we'd start talking to each other, we'd realise everybody feels fear when they're on unfamiliar territory. It's normal, it's natural. Fear, pff, I laugh at fear, yeah? Fear, so what? It's okay, right? So that's that one. The only way to get rid of the fear of something is to do it. You know that, yeah? Do it. And do it quickly. You know, be the first one to deliver the presentation. Yeah? 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 Oh, let me go first. You know. It's great when you get it out of the way, you feel great, you survived, you didn't go up in a puff of smoke. And what you should do is go, okay. I can do this. I think you recognise this, people. Yeah? You know what it's like, otherwise you think, I'll do it when I feel better. I'll do it when I feel better. But because we don't do it, we never feel better. So just do it. And so what if you mess it up a little bit? Learn from that. Yeah? The only failure is not to learn from our failures. But failure is great because it means we've had a go. And of course that turns up on its head everything about schooling quite often, where if you make a mistake you're punished for it, or you're told you're stupid, or you're made to feel stupid. Well, we are not going to be that sort of practitioner. And we are going to be, yeah, I laugh at fear and I laugh at failure. Right? So there's a lot of laughing going on now. This one, it's easier to do what we fear than to live with fear. Living with fear makes our world smaller. Actually, it makes us a little bit smaller, doesn't it? Because we think, I'm the sort of person who can't do that. Now, I've seen my niece, obviously a lot younger than me, she learnt to drive, she can drive brilliantly, and then suddenly after a little while she starts to say, I don't like driving. I can't drive at night. I'm the sort of person who doesn't do this. I'm the sort of person who can't do. And you think, no, you're not. Do you know, just a few months ago, I saw you as this bright, shining thing who thought you could do anything. And suddenly I'm hearing you say, I can't, I shouldn't, I mustn't, I don't. Lose that language, right? Start saying, I can, I am. Now, we've got to change the way we talk. Changing the way we talk about stuff can change the way we feel about stuff. And so if we say to ourselves, because it's almost a bit like cognitive behaviour therapy, we have to give ourselves talking to, yeah, so you have to say to yourself, look, it's easier for me to do this thing than not to do this thing, right? And then you'll start believing it. You give yourself a talking to. I can see a lot of people walking around the university talking to themselves from now on. It does take practice. You can't just sort of wave a magic wand and all at once be 100% this glowing, self-confident person. We have to take steps every single day to change that, to change the way we feel, to change the way we speak. And obviously the world out there is still the same old, unfair, unjust, irrational world that it was before, you know. This is not saying that suddenly, you know, you could get a flood, you could get a thunderstorm, there's still prejudice, there's still injustice, that's all still there. But the trouble is, if we let that define us, we're letting them win. So we have to not let that define us and say, I'm going to define me. And I am, and I can, and I do. Yeah? That's who I am. So that's moving us on sort of subtly, or not so subtly, into positive things to say and do. I can, right? That's one of the most, and it's not I will next week. I will when I've done the reading. I can. Put it in the present and in the positive. I can. There's a lovely book out there. Some of you may already have heard of it. That's it. It's a brilliant book. Susan Jeffers, Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. Because sometimes people sort of internalise, they say, oh, if I do some of those things, Sandra, then I won't feel fearful anymore. Yes, you will. Of course you will. Because it's still human to feel fearful. Feel the fear and do it anyway. That's the secret. So we say, I can. And Susan Jeffers says what we should say is, I am powerful and I love it. Yeah? I am powerful. I am strong. I am brave. I am beautiful. I am loved. And we should be saying these to ourselves every day for the rest of our lives. Don't just say them for a couple of days. We start to feel good. We don't say them anymore. We go back plunging down. Write them on little cards and stick them around your home. There you go. And someone already does that. Write them on cards. Stick them in little drawers. So one day you open a drawer and it says, I am powerful. And you go, yes, I am. The world is great. Yes, it is. That's what we want to start living like that's true. Acting as if that's true. Being in the world as if we are that confident person. Most people would never guess that I am one of the shyest people you could ever meet. I made one friend at primary school and one friend at secondary school. That was all. But someone gave me Susan Jeffers, that helped. But slightly before that, I became a teacher. And then as my job as a teacher was when I walked into a classroom, I was supposed to be the smiley, supportive person. That was my job. My job was not to be the scaredy cat, the shy and blushing one in the corner. I had to put that aside because my job was to be this strong person in the classroom. And when I realised I could do it in the classroom, eventually it dawned on me that maybe I could do it in other bits of my life as well. And they are true. Yeah? Some people say, but that's not really me. I'm still that shy person. No, you become these other people. We are different people at different times anyway, aren't we? We're mother, sister, daughter, aunt, cousin. We're all these people. And they're all us. And we can be that strong, capable, supportive, but knowing where we can also say no. I am not a doormat. Yeah? Susan Jeffers says, say yes when we want to say yes. Say no when we mean no. Don't say yes and grumble. Don't say yes and be a victim. Right? Learn, and we have to train our friends and family to like this, because you know what, they don't like it very much when you start changing. So to say, actually I need some time for myself now. What? What? Who's going to cook my dinner? Who's going to do the shopping? Who's going to do the washing? Well, actually, you are. Takes a bit of courage. But if we don't start making these changes, we stay grumpy, we feel put upon, we feel trod upon, and that sort of person is actually an angry, grumpy person. So I had the same I had the same reaction when someone gave me that. For the first time I read it, I'd just done something crazy. I'd made a film, it was crap. I lost my home, I was unemployed, I was living in my friend's sister's front room and I was feeling like this big, and someone gave me Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. And it said, when something goes wrong, I'm thinking about my life, I'm going, yeah, it's gone wrong. Don't whine, don't go if only, just say, next time I'll do this. Well, obviously the first time I read it, I threw the book across the room. I thought, don't tell me that. But I read it again and I started putting some of the things into practice every day. I can handle it, I can do this, the world is loved. I'm looking forward to that, you know, as opposed to you get this task and you go, oh, I can't do it. Oh, how many words do you want me to write? Yeah, you have to try and change it and go, I'm looking forward to that. That's not a problem, it's an opportunity. Oh, yes. Yeah. This wasn't massive failure. It was a learning experience. Yeah, read the book. It's a good book. It changes in little ways, it changes in big ways. The things you do, the way you feel. And when you start walking down a corridor with that slightly lighter step, when you smile a little bit more, people smile back. Susan Jeffers says, from little things to big things. Some of the little things was, look, if you'd like to make more friends, say hello to people. Say, come for a cup of coffee. Say, why don't we do lunch? Poor Chris knows this. I keep saying to him, Chris, come on, why don't we do lunch? He goes, no. He's not a nice man. But the more you do that, the worst that can happen is someone will say, no. Well, what have you lost? You weren't going out with them for a cup of tea before anyway. But mostly, I found people said, yeah, oh, that's a nice idea. And it started to be, the more I started doing that, you'd start walking around a building where normally everyone was a stranger. There are people that smile at you and go, hi, or hello, or you walk round a corner and someone goes, oh, Sandra's here. And you go, oh, that's nice. And the world changes because you've changed. And even though you might be acting it at first, because the world starts changing around you, it becomes real. You feel better, you are nicer, they are nicer. It's a very nice feeling, it's very positive. And from that, I think that's in a way the only way we can be good practitioners. When we start practicing this in ourselves, we're better in the classroom, but we can start helping our students, our pupils develop these attributes, these feelings as well, and they will be stronger, and they will be braver, and they will go stronger, harder, faster, higher, happier, all those good things. So, we are powerful when we love it, we are beautiful, we are strong, we are loved, we are happy. Now, obviously, this doesn't mean that you can glow quietly over here and the essay writes itself over there. All right? I'm sorry. You know. It's not going to happen. What we can do is say, all right, I'm happy with a pass. Do a pass amount of work and be happy. It was the choice we made. Or I'd like to get a good grade for this one. What would it take to do a good grade? All right, I'll have a good old look. I'll look at the module aims and the learning outcomes and I'll really understand that question and I will put 100% into it and it will be different. Sometimes as human beings we hold a little bit back in case it goes wrong. And it does go wrong and we go, see, I was right to hold a little bit back. But if we hadn't held a little bit back, we might have succeeded. Have you ever seen people on some of these competitions on the telly, a cooking competition or a dancing one or a singing one, and they go, well, I didn't want to do my best one this time. I was saving it for the next round. And they go out in the first round. And they should have done it now. And it's like that. In a way, to start facing every challenge that comes us as an opportunity to shine, to show off, to be the best we can, and to make a difference. Yeah? And when we walk into the class every day, as a student and then as a teacher, act as if you make a difference, because you do. The place is better because you are in that room. You make a difference. Don't apologise for yourself. Stand up tall. Know that you make a difference. If there's a task ahead and you want to do it well, look it in the face and do it well. And if there's some tasks we don't want to do, accept that. Right? I don't want to do this. I do want to do that. This gets my effort. That I will try to put aside, and there's a price to pay, but that's okay. Just like there's a price to pay for this. Unfortunately, being human, there's always a price to pay. Whatever we do or we don't do, there is a price to pay. So we might as well say, I am or I'm not, and I accept the price. One of the worst words in the language is should. I should do my essay. Yeah? I should do the reading. I should visit my nan. You know? And don't we make everybody else pay for our decision? Huh? So you've got to try and change it. Yeah? This is my choice. I have chosen this. Yeah? No one made me. There was no gun. This is my choice. I do it 100%. I do it with a smile. I make a difference. And yes, we have to do this every day because it is very easy to forget. And often, one of the reasons we don't have faith in ourselves or we lack a little self-belief is because maybe the people who brought us up taught us well, you know? Remember when you were a kid and your mum might have said, oh, don't do that, be careful, mind how you go, don't climb that tree, don't go swimming. Ooh, I was 40 years old and my sister gave me a pair of roller skates. It coincided with this homeless period I was telling you about. So I had nowhere to go except sometimes round my mum. So I said, can I store my roller skates here? Yes. I went back a couple of like, where's my roller skates gone? You don't want them at your age. You might have an accident. What? Thank you, Mum. And you internalise that maybe your parents, your caregivers don't have faith in you. And therefore, you don't have faith in you. So one of the reasons we have to have this big voice in our head saying, I can, I am, I will, I'm strong, is to get rid of these little voices, wherever they've come from, that are already in our head saying, don't do that, that's too hard, it's too much work, it's too difficult. What do you want to do that for? What do you want to do that for at your age? Who do you think you are? And often we've got that little voice running there.
It's true what you're saying. When I was younger, because I've got dyslexia and it wasn't diagnosed when I was younger, I was called dunce. And that affected me. And I never believed, like, when somebody mentioned university, my friend beside me, I said to me, I never thought I could do it. You know, and I've done a foundation degree, and I'm the first girl in my family that's ever gone to university. So
you know,
I hear what you're saying.
Yeah, yeah, and you know, all those negative, they weren't true.
Yeah, and I had to fight through them.
But they felt true.
Yes, they do.
They do.
They do at the time. They do.
Yeah. So we have to fight that, and we have to fight it every day because we slip back. We slip back. We do slip back, and I slip back. There are days I wake up and think, oh, I can't face today, and then I go, come on, girl, get up there. Yes, you can. It's a lovely day. I also do positive physical things as well. I go for walks, and I find that no matter how stressed I am or worried I am, if I go for a little walk, it helps, and things start to sort themselves out in my brain, and suddenly a problem is solved, or I'm halfway to an answer, or at least I feel better about where I am in the problem at the moment. So it's about all of us investigating the things that we can say and do to make us feel more positive, and to start throwing out that negative voice that was never helpful. It should never have been there, and we've got to work to get rid of it. Yeah? So those are the sorts of things I talk about. I can. There are some other, we've said, other good words we said were, this is my choice, yeah? Give 100%. Act as if you make a difference, because you do. What else did we say? We said things were not problems. They were opportunities. Things were not disasters. They were learning experiences. When something goes wrong, because things always go wrong, we don't whine and say, if only. We go, next time. So when something goes wrong, don't go, go, all right, why did that go wrong? What could I do differently next time to make it successful? And go, okay, next time I'll do this. Next time I'll do that. And you know, take control of the problem and make it an opportunity. Oh, and get rid of should, didn't we? We said should was a horrible victim word that we are going to throw out straight away and say, this is my choice, I'm making a difference, I act as if I can. And I am powerful. And I love it. I love the fact that I am powerful, right? I've had that as a screensaver on my computer, so that when I've been writing something difficult, because you don't stop writing difficult things when you stop being a student, it goes on and on and on. If I have a break and I'm starting to feel a bit flagged, my screensaver would come up and say, I am powerful and I love it. And I'd shake my fist at it, but then I'd carry on writing. And it spurred me on. On another computer I've actually got, as a screensaver, I've got the word joy. Because sometimes some of this can feel like a bit of a battle, and that's not the message I'm trying to give. It's to try and embrace the joy of our lives. And they don't always feel joyful, and there are problems. And it's trying to find the opportunity in the problem. Right, where can I go from here? You know, there I was, homeless, in this front room, feeling like a little bit of a failure. It allowed me to move. I moved out of London for the first time. I never thought I would move out of London because I love London. But I moved out into a little place in the country, and it offers me something different. So you think, all right, I might not have been brave enough to do it, but because of this, I've done that. And sometimes the craziest things can be an opportunity, like losing your job. Oh, feels terrible. Right, well, what job would I really like to do then? What would light my smile in the morning? What would get me racing and thinking, I want to do that job? There's always an opportunity. No matter how dark and bleak and strange things feel, there's always an opportunity for us in there somewhere. Our job is to try and find it, and maybe to help our friends on the way, and start making positive friends. You don't have to keep mixing with those miserable, grumbly, moan and groan people who drag you down and make you feel like a failure before you've even got up. Well, I've seen some snods, and I've seen some smiles, and I've seen some, well, I'm not quite sure about that.
Reality of what happened in our life.
Yeah?
That's right.
Yes,
Exactly.
assignments plus life.
Yes, exactly. What an opportunity.
We always like, I will do, I should take this assignment. No. let me leave it. I will do this first. I will read. I will. But you said it. Thank you. It's very interesting.
You know the amount of work, the time you save by adapting that and adopting that and adapting it to you. Sometimes I get in and I think, I've got to write this thing, whatever it is, right? And of course, like you, I want to think, well, I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it. And I make myself something. I say, well, I've got half hour before I go and teach. I'll write something now. And amazingly, in that half hour, something appears that would not have appeared if I hadn't just said, come on, do it now. And often I'll go back and it only needs a little bit of work and it is the thing. Whereas otherwise it would have dragged over me for weeks and made me miserable. Do it now. It's really important. It makes a lot of difference.